99.7 FM and all of our other
Okay, thank you very much for joining us for today's edition of the Joy
thank you to the whole team for bringing us news file
99.7
and the
FM
midday
and all
news.
of our
Interesting
other
stuff to talk
channels.
about
And of course,
today.
I'd like
A subject which we probably may have
and
not,
the midday news.
expanded well enough.
Interesting
Today,
stuff to talk
we're
about
devoting
today.
the time to
A
expanding
subject
it.
which,
We're taking a look
we
at
probably may
amputee
have
football.
not,
Yes,
expanded well
amputee
enough. Today,
football.
we're
Do you
devoting
know
the time
that
to
the
expanding
Ghana
it. We're
amputee
taking a look
national football
at
team, I'm
amputee
talking about the male
Yes,
amputee football
amputee
team,
football.
have been
Do you know
consistent
that the
since
Ghana amputee
the introduction
national
of the
football team, I'm
Amputee
talking about
Africa
the
Cup
male
of Nations?
amputee
They have been
football
consistent to
team
the
have
extent
been
that it was
consistent
only in the year
since
2019
introduction
that
of
Ghana did not
Amputee
perform
Africa Cup of
as
Nations.
part of the
They
top
have been
three on the
consistent to the
continent.
extent that it was
As the
only
situation
in the
stands
year
now, in terms
2019
of their
that
pedigree
Ghana
and in
did
terms
not
of the
perform
numbers,
as part
Ghana
of the
has
top
won
three
a
on the
minimum
continent.
of 2
As
AFCON
the situation
titles.
stands
The
now,
recent
in
one
terms of their
being
pedigree and in terms
that
of
which
the
was
numbers,
hosted in Egypt
Ghana
just
has
a
won
couple of
a
weeks
minimum
ago.
of
Of course,
2 AFCON
the national
titles.
amputee
The
football team has
recent
been
one
in the news for different
being
reasons. I mean,
that which was
after
hosted in
winning
Egypt just,
what is most
a couple of
important
weeks ago. Of
in
course,
competition,
the
which
national
is the
amputee football
ultimate.
team has
They
been
came
in
back
the news
home,
for different
and because of a
reasons. I mean,
protocol
after
mistake,
winning
well,
what
there was
is
a lot
most
of hype
important
around
in
the mistake they
competition,
made
which is
rather
the
than the
ultimate.
achievement
They came
made.
back home,
Well,
and
that
because of
feedback
a
was given
protocol
by the Youth and
mistake,
Sports
well, there was
Minister.
a lot of hype
Apologies have been
around
sent
the
through,
mistake they
but
made
now
rather than the
some
achievement
revelations
made.
have been made
Well,
which
that
make
feedback
it
was given by
compelling
the Youth and
enough to
Sports
have
Minister.
this conversation
Apologies
about
have been
how
sent through,
we have
but
structured
now
our
some
amputee
revelations
football
have been made
and how
which
we
make
probably
it
may be
compelling
missing
enough
out
to
on
have
even
this
bigger
conversation
silverware
about
because
how
we
we
may
have
not be
structured
giving them
our amputee
enough
football
attention
and how
as
we
we're supposed to.
probably
You
may
do
be missing
remember
out on
that
even
sometime
bigger
during the week,
silverware
a revelation
because
was
we
made
may not
about
be giving
where
them
the team
enough
had to
attention
procure
as
their
we're
jerseys
supposed to.
from.
You do remember
Good old
that sometime
Kantamanto, the
during the
place
week,
where
a revelation was made about
Ghana has a
where the
hub
team
for
had to procure
used
their jerseys
clothing
from.
and
Good
clothing
old
generally,
Kantamanto, the place
new
where,
and semi-new footwear
Ghana has
and
a
all
hub
of that.
for
That hub in
used
Central Accra,
clothing and
that's where the national
clothing
team
generally,
purchased their
new
jerseys
and
for
semi-new
the
footwear
AFCON tournament,
and all
the
of that.
Amputee AFCON.
That hub in
Well,
Central Accra, that's
there's
where
a
the
story
national
to be
team
told, and
purchased
two
their
of the people
jerseys
at the helm,
for
I'm talking
the
about
AFCON
the
tournament,
long-serving
the Amputee
captain of the side,
Well,
Richard Arthur
there's a story to
Opinsil,
be told,
and his
and
namesake,
two
the head
of the
coach, who
people
also
at
has
the helm.
a
I'm
very,
talking
very
about
interesting story to tell all of us,
Joy,
are here with me on the show.
99.7
Midway through, we'll be
And his
talking about
namesake,
next
the head
weekend's
coach, who
Ghana
also
Football
has
Awards.
a
Remember,
very, very
Joy Sports
interesting
and the
story to
Multimedia
tell
Group
all of
are a
us.
major
Here
partner
with
for
me
this
on the
6th
show.
edition,
Midway
and the
through,
question
we'll
we're
be
asking
talking about
ourselves
next
is,
weekend's Ghana
who
Football
wins
Awards.
the
Remember,
Footballer of the Year
Joy
award, which
Sports and the
sure will
Multimedia
be
Group are
the
a
top
major
post of
partner
all
for
of
this
this.
6th edition,
All of these and
and
more,
the
plus
question we're
your
asking ourselves
messages
is,
and your
who wins
suggestions
the
on
Footballer
this
of the Year
subject
award, which
here
sure
on the
will
Joy
be
Sports
the
link on
top
Joy
post of all of this.
99.7
All of these and
FM
more,
with me,
plus
Nathaniel
your
Attoh. Remember
messages
that we're
and your
joined
suggestions
by our
on
audience
this
from
subject
all parts of
here
the
on
world
the Joy
because
Sports
of
link
our
on Joy,
live stream on
99.7
YouTube
FM.
and on
Me,
the Joy
Nathaniel
Sports
Attoh. Remember that
and
we're
Joy
joined
99.7
by our
FM
audience
pages
from all
on
parts of
Facebook.
the world.
Welcome to the
because
show.
of our
I'm
live
glad to
stream
be in your company
on
one more
YouTube
time.
and on
It
the
is
Joy
time
Sports,
to
and
get
Joy
close to the
99.7
persons
pages
who
on
will be the
Facebook.
center
Welcome
of
to the
the
show.
conversation.
I'm
Gentlemen,
glad to be in your
congratulations
company
are in
one more
order.
time.
Congratulations
It's time
once
to,
again. Thank you
get
so
close
much
to the
for
persons
making Ghana
who
this
will
proud.
be the center of the
Thank you
conversation.
very much.
Gentlemen,
Great,
congratulations are in
great.
order.
The story of the two
Congratulations once
Richards.
again. Thank you so much for making Ghana this proud.
Richard the coach and Richard the player.
Great.
Guys,
The story of the two
congratulations
Richards.
once again. I know it's been a very tough journey for you.
Richard the coach,
but we're going to be
Richard the
talking
player.
about the achievement that
Guys,
was made
congratulations
in
once
Egypt
again.
and,
I know
and
it's been a very
how you
tough
drew
journey for
strength
you.
to go through
But,
that period.
we're going to be talking about the achievement.
First of all,
that was
tell
made
me
in
about
Egypt
the
and-
general organization
how you drew
of the
strength
Amputee
to go
AFCON.
through
I
that
mean, you've
period.
been to quite a number of these tournaments.
First of all, tell me
about the general
general
organization of that
organization
tournament that you
of
took
the
part in
Amputee
and eventually won.
AFCON. I mean, you've
All right.
been.
Thank you
to
very
quite a
much. I
number
would
of
like to
these
say a
tournaments.
very big
Tell me
thank
about
you
the
to your
general
audience
organization of that tournament
and
that
your
you
crew you are
took part
working
in
with.
eventually won.
And thank you also for
Thank you
giving us
very
this
much.
great
I would like to
opportunity to
say
let the
a
cat
very
out of the
big
bag.
thank you to your audience.
So I would say AFCON have been was organized in 2021 by the Federation of African Amputee Football, which was led by the president, the then president of the Ghana Amputee Football Association, Reverend Adisa. it's time of Orab, so they changed the name to Confederation of African Amputee Football, which is led by Pinto, who is an Angolan. So Reverend Adesa organized the 2021, which Ghana won. We took part where we paid for our own ticket and participation fee to represent Mother Ghana, where we came as the champions of Africa. And in 2024, fast forward, we went to defend the title, and by the grace of God, even though we have struggles and challenges, we overcame and overlooked all these challenges, and we are here with a trophy. It's been a great and amazing journey with full of souls. We overcame and overlooked all these challenges.
Richard, congratulations. You've been the captain of the side for quite a while now. 2010. Wow.
I see.
That's amazing. Richard, congratulations. You've been the captain. By 2010, I was 1 year at Multimedia. For quite a while now. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What has fueled the longevity and the consistency with this team? Congratulations.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
The longevity and the consistency.
Disability sports, amputee football in general has come to stay. And it has come to stay for people with disabilities, no matter age, boundaries, it has come to stay. Once you are disabled and you can perform, you perform every day. So, boundaries, I think it has made that we the amputee players or people with physically challenged issues be part of society. Able players play football, and now we have a version of amputee football be part of society. As amputee players. So that keeps us going, because we have a version being in sports always make you strong. You will not be falling sick, and you will not. That keeps us going. You wouldn't feel alone. You are always with a team. You play together, you chat together, you do everything together. So it's a community on its own. This is how we see it. You play together.
Well, interesting stuff coming from the story of the two Richards. Richard the coach and Richard the captain of the very victorious Ghana amputee football team. Richard the coach. Later on, I'll be asking Richard the captain how very victorious Ghana amputee football got amputee status. How it all happened and how he switched into football. I'm sure that story is one many of you are looking forward to hearing. We'll be asking all of that right here on the show. Remember, it's 055-1111-997. 055-1111-997. Join us with your messages as well, and let's all carry this story together to the rest of the world. Now, joining us virtually is a man who, at the time when he was here as a journalist at Joy Sports, took a lot of interest in the amputee, football team. Now, I remember one of his interviews with Richard Arthur Pinto, who now has gained a lot in terms of caps for the Ghana amputee football team. Daniel Attoh is playing different roles today. Now, Daniel Attoh is an alumnus of Joy Sports, editor of Ghana Web, and also a board member of the Ghana Football Awards, which comes off next week. He's a member of the panel and the judging team. A board member of the Ghana Football will be doing all the hard work and all the collation of the figures and putting this on the side and doing all of that, doing all of the analysis so that we get our winners away from the voting, which will also be added. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us on the Joy Sports Link. It's great to have you here again.
Thank you, Nat. You took me back to my many years at Joy. And yes, I did cover a lot of stories about the amputee football. I remember the former president, I think Ajit Iswa. Very eloquent man. Always came to the studios. And I mean, I'm happy that they are making exploits. It's unfortunate there's a lot of happened after they won the AFCON, but I'm sure that will be resolved. It's unfortunate there's a lot of
Before we get into the big one for next weekend, Daniel, I want you to tell me, from where you sit. I mean, you saw, the team in its emergence during that period, and from where you sit, I mean, you saw some of the challenges that they had, and going back, I mean, coming over a decade now and still counting, I mean, with all these achievements that have been made, and still seeing some of these challenges. Where do you stand? What do you have to say about this regarding where we're placing this sport? Where do you stand? What do you have to say?
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate because at this level you would think that there should be some level of formalization, for want of a better word, in the activities of amputee. The beach soccer had the same challenge. What I expected would have happened by now would be that the Ghana Football Association will draft the Amputee Football Association under their ambit and under their umbrella. So they become a member of the Ghana Football Association. They are playing football, and whatever nomenclature it is, whether it is beach football or amputee football, it should come under the umbrella of the Ghana Football Association. Now, when that happens, when they are going for major tournaments, they will submit their budget through the Ghana Football Association. The Football Association will then direct when they are going Ministry of Youth and Sports. The Ministry of Youth and Sports will analyze it forward. The Football Association will, the Ministry of Finance, it will go to Cabinet. Ministry of Youth and they will get their money and they will go and participate, get apparel and all of that. It's quite disheartening that many years, and this has been more than 10 years. I think when I followed the team, they were about to participate in their first World Cup in Argentina. Many years ago, and we had the same challenges. We had to speak a lot about it on Joy Sport, on the news bulletins, on Joy at the time. And I remember John Mills, former President Rawlings, former President Jonathan Mills, so Joy was in charge of this country at the time, made a call to us, and we got him through to the hierarchy of the Association of the Football Association, and then they made it happen. They made them able to travel to Argentina, participated there, and did immensely well. Many years down the line, you would think that there will be some respect around it because this sport is growing on the continent and around the world. So I expect that the conversation that they are going to be drafted by the Ghana Football Association should happen as quickly as possible. And I mentioned that beach soccer had the same challenge until recently. They were drafted under the ambit of the Ghana Football Association. So if they have not started that conversation should start so that they don't have to be going around begging individuals and companies for monies to be able to travel to compete. They are competing in the name of Ghana, and we shouldn't treat them the way we have been treating them all these years. These things should be a thing of the past, honestly.
Thing of the past, honestly, and like I said, we're welcoming your messages 055-1111-997, 055-1111-997. We're just hoping that we can have some amount of time to also take your phone calls later on here on the show. But thank you all very much for staying with us here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. The Ghana Football Awards is also coming up next weekend at the Grand Arena. It will be colorful, it will be beautiful, and of course, we're going to be paying massive respects to all those who have performed over the last football calendar. But right now, we want to throw the focus on some of the nominations. One of the key names that everybody's attention will go to is Kudus Mohammed, because he's the defending champion when it comes to the topmost award, which is the Ghana, the Footballer of the Year award. Now he's joined by 3 others, and Daniel, Kudus Mohammed, another good season so far. It looks good for him, but he's got some competition. Kudus Mohammed.
He does. He has some very good competition. First season in England, and really cemented his place as one of the brightest prospects from the African. He has some double figures in goals and assists for his club West Ham. If he was playing for the Manchester United or the Arsenal and Chelsea of this world, I'm sure we'll be mentioning his name in a different dimension. But nonetheless, he's demonstrated that he's a force to reckon with, and he's done that not just at the club level, he's done that at the national team level. He's been phenomenal for the Black Stars, and I think that he has a very good chance. But like you said, he has very good competition from Inaki Williams, from Osman Bukhari, and Fatawi Shahab, who himself played in England, never mind in the lower division, in the Championship. But he's been able to qualify Leicester to the Premier League, and he had an amazing season, one of the brightest talents that we have in Europe at this moment, and the fact that Leicester have decided to trigger his buyout clause from Sporting, he suggests how important he is to their team. Bukhari himself had a very wonderful season, and Inaki also won a trophy for Athletic Bilbao. So it tells you that the competition is going to be very stern and very keenly contested. but Kudus has a very, very big chance. We'll see how the Club 100 members will vote, but it promises to be a very exciting contest.
Okay, so we want you to also do a quick explanation about the Club 100 so that everybody understands the voting formula for the Ghana Football Awards. A quick explanation about the Club 100.
Okay, so the Club 100 is a coinage. It's
for the
a group of football stakeholders. So first we have all the captains and the coaches of all the Premier League clubs and all the national football teams, both male and female. And so if you go to the Black Stars, the captain of the team, and the substantive captain is Andrea Ayew, he will vote, Coach Otuado would vote for all the categories. And then we'll go to the Meteors, they will vote, the captain will vote, the coach will vote. We'll go to the Black Queens, and the Attoh will vote, and then the captain of the team will vote. They make up a percentage of the Club 100. Now, if you move from there, the PFAG, which is the Professional Footballers Association of Ghana, they will have a slot or a quota to vote as well. And then you will have selected journalists from across the country voting as well. And what we have done is that the journalists are not going to be based only selected journalists from across. They are going to be selected from across the 16 regions of this country, and they are all going to be form part of the Club 100. You know, in the FIFA Ballon d'Or and all, journalists are allowed to vote as well as the captains and the coaches of the Club 100 of the football division. So that's where we picked that motivation from. So that is the Club 100. Coaches, captains of the national teams and all the Premier League clubs. So Hartlepool, Asante Kotoko, Dreams, all of them will have their coaches and their captain national teams, and then you have the national teams as well, and then you have PFA. You would have a slot, and then selected journalists from across the country. In fact, the new thing we've added this year is that as part of the Club 100, we have done a small select group of African journalists who will vote specifically for the Best Africa International.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Daniel, because for the Best African International, yet another set of Nigerians have made their way there. Last year was Victor Osimhen. This year, we have two Nigerians making up, constituting the top three. So Ademola Lookman of Atalanta and Victor Boniface of Bayer Leverkusen there. Also Edmond Tapsoba of Bayer Leverkusen there. So two players from Bayer Leverkusen, one Nigerian, one Burkinabe. So two Nigerians, one Burkinabe. Interesting, isn't it? So two players.
Quite interesting, but it's always reflective of how the Africans perform. I mean, and if you look at what Bayer Leverkusen did in the season, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable record, and it only stands to reason that if there were African players there who contributed immensely to that successful campaign, they will be recognized. And I think it's only a fair representation of their performances. However, this year is not so clear-cut. In the previous years, and it looked very set from the onset. So when this year won it, nobody was in doubt because he had done an amazing job with Napoli the season. So that season, the previous one, Sadio Mane had a wonderful season that he won it himself. And so in the past, we've had very clear cuts when he won it, or if you like a one-way fight. But this time, it's not all that rosy. Nonetheless, you say that Bayer Leverkusen players will stand a higher chance, but it's not as clear cut as we have seen in previous seasons. And I remember in the long list, somebody like Mohamed Salah's name came up because on an ordinary day, you think that for what he did, get a look in. But by his own high standards, many thought he's done better in previous seasons than he did this season under review. But by his own high standards, he didn't make the short list. Somebody like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang also made the long list, but didn't make the short list because even though he made a lot of good performances with Marseille and in the Europa League, and all of that, he's had better seasons, and the board felt that good performances based on his own higher standards, and all of he didn't make the cut. But it was quite easy to select the guys from Bayer Leverkusen based on his own higher standards. And Atlanta, because of the amazing run they had in Europe and also in the domestic campaign. and Atlanta.
Interesting stuff there. Now, I am very interested in this particular category as well, because there seems to be this rivalry which has been transferred onto the awards. I'm talking about, the best female footballer domestic. Okay, and you also then have a very fine distribution of Ampem Dakwa ladies and Hazaka's ladies. So 2 players from Ampem Dakwa ladies and 1 from Hazaka's ladies. The rivalry never stops.
Yeah.
So Ophelia and Ponsan, and the Comfort Yeboah from Ampem Dakwa ladies, and then Mukarama Abdullahi, the very old Mukarama Abdullahi in there as well. And the Comfort Yeboah from Ampem Dakwa ladies.
So there's a combination of what they did with their clubs and what they also did with their national team. Don't forget that during the All Africa Games or the Africa Games, the Princesses won gold as well. They won gold in both the men and the women or the Africa Games. So the performances of the players also was telling in terms of how they contributed. Ordinarily, you think that the Hazakas should have a lot of players because they won the national league and won their zone. So because the women's football is played in zones, and people will win their zone, Hazakas won their zone. But the 2 of them will meet for the national title. Hazakas seem to have won it, and ideally you think that a lot of their players should be in the short list. But this is a combination of what you did at both club level and at national team level. I remember Abu Karama had a very slow start to the tournament during the African Games, but ended up being one of the most crucial goal scorers in the finals or in the lead up to the finals. So that should tell you how well she performed. So the rivalry is going to continue, and you see the same rivalry even in the Women's Coach of the Year, where Ampem Dakwa, Joe Dakwa is there, and then Basili is there, and again, their performances both with their clubs and with the national teams, and then played a crucial role in how they were selected and why they were selected for this prestigious award. So at some point, you want the duopoly to be broken. Now we've seen Samatex being the first, winning it for the first time in the Ghana Premier League. At some point, you want to see some new clubs challenging Ampem Dakwa and Hazakas. Last season was purely Ampem Dakwa, won everything at stake, went to Africa, did well in Africa, but it looks like Hazakas want to make a comeback and take their crown. So it'll be quite interesting to see how they did well in
Well, I'm just glad. So I'm just glad at the turn of events in women's football. It's going pretty well. We just need to have a lot of injection in terms of sponsorship. So the turn of events in women's the packaging goes even better, and we're able to perform even better on the stage of the CAF Champions, the Women's CAF Champions League. Now talk about that in that kind of stage. Of course, 2 foreign-based players have joined that list or that trial in the Women's Footballer of the Year category. So Bridget Edu of Tot FC Egypt, and also ZFC of Egypt's Jennifer Kankam also joining in there. So 5 players up for the Women's Footballer of the Year. And also ZFC of Egypt's
it's interesting, and they both played a very pivotal role in their club's success in the season under review. Usually, because we don't watch the women's games, especially the foreign ones, on TV, it's quite easy to brush aside the performances or the output of these players. But we as a board, we try to keep tabs on what the players are doing outside of the shores of this country, and we realize that in Egypt, our players were doing very well. They're winning titles. Tot FC, for example, won the title for the first time in a very, very long time. And breaking the dominance of their challenges there. So we think that it's a fair representation of our women and how they are playing in Europe. In fact, the long list had more foreign-based players who also were doing very well in their respective leagues. In fact, the long list had across the world. But we thought that these 5 had distinguished themselves when we speak about the season under review, and they deserve their nominations and all the competition. I hope that the best person will win, and I hope that the people who vote will not just pay attention to the people they see. I hope that the best person will win, and I hope that the people, irrespective of the fact that the women's will not just pay attention to the ones on the African continent are not on TV. Because look into the numbers irrespective of the fact that the contribution of these players to the success they're doing are not amazing job. Look into the numbers.
Let's see how things go, and it will be interesting to see some of the names and faces that we normally would see on TV. Let's see how things go, either domestically or internationally. Come over and get on it. So many more categories. We'll be discussing all of these along either domestically or all our other shows during the week as we build up to that very big one. Many more categories. We'll be discussing all of these. The Grand Arena of the Accra International Conference Center. And the red carpet begins at 6:30 p.m. sharp. It'll be live on Joy Prime, and so you'd have to join us there. If you don't have an invitation, start making your calls. You know what to do. Go to live on Joy Prime. But Daniel, thank you so much for joining us. I know the weekend is very demanding and telling on you, and we're grateful for your time here. But Daniel, thank you so much. Let's see who wins. All the best to you, Daniel. Thank you so much. Very demanding and telling. All right, so Daniel Attoh there. Daniel Attoh is editor of Ghana Web and also all the best to you, Daniel. A member of the Club 100. All right, so Daniel Attoh there. Daniel Attoh is Awards who are in the background doing all the selection and all the figures and doing the justifications why someone should be there or not be there. Well, so we're still on with the conversations around the Ghana Amputee football team, the Black Challenge, who are the current champions of Africa. Well, so we're still on with the conversations recently at the last edition of the football team, the Black Challenge, who are the current CAAF, achieved competition recently, and of course we're looking at their stories, their respective stories of the head of the technical team and the captain of the side, so we get close to them and understand how things are working, what the real difficulties are, and how we can move forward into the future. Gentlemen, how things are working, what the real difficulties now, and how we can move forward into the future. Look gentlemen, at the close stories. Richard, you now, first of all, how did this happen? I mean, look at your close becoming an amputee footballer. You
I got amputated at the age of 6 years.
At the age of 6? Yeah. Wow. Becoming an amputee.
So I used crutches to go to school and then be playing football at the same time.
At the age of 6?
The area boys. So I used crutches to
go. Did you begin immediately? I mean, after you went through the surgery, the process, how quick was it for you to start playing football? Did you begin immediately? How was the recovery process as well? You went through the surgery,
the recovery was very fast. And as children they are always stubborn. They always want to play, whether the recovery was very fast. So that was my story. Children they are always up to now. They always want. I'm still playing football. They are head or not. So
and how was it? I mean, now balancing between not having the full, the full set of legs and having just one leg and playing with it. How easy was it for you to adjust to not having the full,
it all depends on you. In everything, the vim that you have and the motivation that you get from friends and family, in everything, always push you to do whatever you need to do. Sometimes, the motivation that you get from you are alive, and family, it means always push there is a reason for you to live. Sometimes, if you are most people get amputated, but they don't survive. But once you get accident and you are amputated and you are a survivor, you need to give a testimony. Because the Lord, the Creator, has a reason for you being alive. So you have to wake up from where you have to gather the pieces and then start moving with your vision. So you have to
I'm just a little curious. I mean, at that age, obviously, most of the people you were playing with were able-bodied. I'm just a little curious. So how was adjusting like?
Before I had the accident, they were my friends. Okay. And after the accident, when from the hospital, they were still my friends. Before area guys, they were my friends. Before that,
which neighborhood was this anyway?
Dansoman. Dansoman Beach Road.
They were still my friends.
Yeah. Area guys. The damn family, over the years, family is like, you could have families from, the neighboring house. Family. Over the years, family is like, go to one parent's house and then eat. They also come from their house and come and eat at your place. But it's not like now. So the bond between families and friends were so unique as compared to now. Your place, but it's not like now. So the bond small gradual process, fast forward, were so unique as compared to I used crutches to go to school. You know, fast forward, one man, he's called Mr. Egan. He introduced me into amputee football.
Which year was that?
I think fast forward, almost. One man, he's called Mr. Egan. He introduced me into almost 15 years ago.
Which year? 15 years ago.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, 15 years ago. I remember I used to sit on his tricycle, and then
15 years ago.
He will control the tricycle all the way from Dansoma to Accra Sports Stadium. For us to come and have a training. Control the tricycle all the way from Dansoma to Accra Sports. For us to people sit in wheelchairs, others will be using crutches, and then we will all be playing football.
I see.
Sports. So fast forward, we found amputee football, and the maiden edition of the African amputee football tournament was hosted in Liberia. And Ghana won that trophy. That was the maiden edition. So, if the total AFCONs that we've won is 3 now, Ghana won that trophy.
3?
Yeah. Because the maiden edition, Ghana won it. At that time, I wasn't part of the team because I was at a different club, disability club. So after that tournament is when I joined the national team. And here we are, getting trophies for Mother Ghana and making Mother Ghana very proud, and people with disability. We are giving them a reason for them to live. And those also in various rooms that they think when they come out, people will be laughing at them. It's no more now. And we want to give a complete eradication of that canker in the minds of Ghanaians.
Well. If you just joined us, we're having this conversation around amputee football. Today, we're dedicating the show to amputee football for very obvious reasons. The ultimate aim of competition today for everyone is winning the ultimate, winning the silverware. And the amputee national football team of Ghana, the Black Challenge, have done that and done that in flying colors. And now we're taking a look at the stories of these players, the coaches and the technical team through the lenses of the head coach, Richard Obeng, and the captain, Richard Arthur Opento, who's been telling us about time when he had to recover from an accident at the age of 6, get himself into playing football, getting a lot of support from his friends, his very supportive friends, and eventually landing a place in the national team where he's been serving till now. Messages are very welcome on 05511119997. This is the Joy Sports link, and we're here live on the platform and also on YouTube, and we're reaching a global audience as well. And we're here live on the Richard, and in this case, it's Richard the coach. That's how we're doing the differentiation today. Look, you also decided to branch into this area of football, and the first question is, look, why did you decide to take that decision to get into this particular area of football when you took the decision in life to become a football coach? Why did you decide to take
thank you very much once again. I saw them train. I traveled and I came back. I went to Kufuria. I was just passing by, said, let me go have a walk. And I saw some few of them playing. That was my first time seeing people playing amputee football. I was wowed by that, and I was like, okay, I was doing the philanthropist work. I had a foundation. We used to serve the rural areas. I was wowed by that, and I was like, let me get closer to these people. I was doing the philanthropist work. I had a foundation. So I got close to them. I bought water for them after the training. I asked them, okay, we have a leader, and that is Emmanuel Fosu, who's aspiring for the MP in Koforia now. So they took me to him. I told him, I want to work with them.
So you're talking about Emmanuel Fosu, the amputee cyclist, the famous amputee cyclist who, okay, good.
So I met him, and he said, okay, you're welcome on board. He made me the team manager of his club. So fast forward, I started managing the club whilst he was away, and he had to close down because he wasn't coming back soon. So I said, okay, let me take them in. So I took 2 of them in. That was the number I could cater for them. So I stayed with them. And we started training. I bought the tools, equipment, football. And I started training with them before I go to work. So we were together, and I thought I could do more. They will call you. Okay, I know you are ready to offer a place. I want to join the team, and I have to prepare myself. So I took another one in making 3, and I walk by the street. I find one in Accra. I speak to them. Are you interested in the football? He said yes. okay, you have to come to Koforidua all the way. I don't mind coming. I walked by the street. I took them in, and I have 18, and it was growing. He said yes. So I said, okay, now let me set up my own team. I took them in. So I took them to 30 man, you know, where food was less cheaper, so I could cater for them very well. Let me set up my own team.
They always say that the Buno area is the breadbasket of the nation.
So I took them there and we started training. And we heard that there was going to be a median league in Ghana, so I have to quickly rush down to Accra to see how we can participate in the team. And we had the men, that is the boys, median league in Ghana, playing the football. So I came to meet the GACA chairman, and he was to see a boy again. So we made arrangement to join the team, and we came with the Amputee Football Club. We played the median league and we took the second place. We won the best player and the top scorer of the tournament. So with 1 point just behind the Asantema, who won the trophy. So an offer came from Turkey that they won the best player, and because of Pinto and the rest have paved way for the Ghanaian athletes, so the offer came. I said, okay, I have the best player. If you can accept the best player and the top scorer, I can give it. I said, no, I just want the best player. So another offer came, and I said, okay, you want one player, but this is my suggestion. I want you to take the best player and the top scorer, and myself, by giving me the opportunity to come and study Amputee football. And the top scorer. I said, okay, we will give you that opportunity with your players. So together, I went with my players, the two players. And here we are. I stayed with the club for 4 good years. So together, I became the master of the club. Later, became the translator for the African players. And moved to assistant coach of the club. And I had to quickly come together with the team. And that after the median league, that gave us the opportunity. There's no league anymore. So how do we come together in Turkey and make sure the league is back and also the national team come back to the factory settings? So we decided to contact the host. That was 2021, Tanzania. And fortunately for me, the president of the Federation was my friend Peter Sarugi. So I contacted him. Our decision is to come and play the AFCON, which was also a World Cup qualifiers. I said, okay, Steve, it's a nice idea, so I'll talk to the LOC and see how they can help you. I made him know that we are just 9 contingents who will be representing Mother Ghana. So they said, okay, if you are 9, we can allow you to pay. And we let them know we don't have that money to pay the full participation fee. So they took 50% off. And they said, if you can pay for the remaining 50%, your team is good to participate. So myself and the 8 players made the arrangement to pay the $5,000, and we bought our ticket and we went in to represent Madagascar. Our motive for going was to make sure how to draw the attention of.
Do you remember how much you spent at the time?
We went in to represent Madagascar. Yeah, I remember. Our motive for going was paying a participation fee of $5,000 and buying a ticket was $850 each. Paying a participation fee of each. So myself and the 8 players, this is the money we spent. And it was through the COVID period. You have to do the COVID test. And the funniest thing that, do you know what happened? On the final game of the AFCON in 2021, they said if you don't do a COVID test, you can't participate. Do you know what happened? So we have to call friends from Turkey to borrow us some money because we didn't have any cash with us there to do the test. And luckily enough, we had our Visa card there. So we sent the money and we went to withdraw. And immediately after we did the test, it was 1 hour to the final game. And we went through to win 3-2 against Liberia. So our motive was to draw the attention of the government and the authority, the sports authorities, that the sports can't be dominant if the leadership are fighting our power hunger. So they should come in for the athletes so that the league will be back, because it was the same league that gave me the opportunity to go and study about Amputee football. And the same league has also given 2 players the opportunity. So if we continue from 2019 and now let's do this analysis. 2018 it was myself and 2 players. So if you have played in 2019, another 2, give opportunity to 3 players again. 2020, another 3. Would have been counting and we'll be having a lot of players for the nation playing professional amputee football in Turkey. So that was the motive for us traveling and sacrificing for Mother Ghana. And we won the trophy, and we went back to Istanbul, where we were airlifted by the Ministry of Youth and Sports to Accra to present the trophy, where we were awarded $2,000 each, and we returned back to Turkey to continue our trade. So after we traveled back, I realized the World Cup was 2022, so I had to come back with some of the professional players to see how we can prepare the team to represent Mother Ghana in the World Cup. And we were disqualified at the end, and I wanted to go back. And the following year, we were going to have Para Games. I said, let me stay back and help the local organizing committee, as the Lake Club Association, and how we can organize the local players to blend with the professionals so we can represent Mother Ghana very well. And to the glory of God, we were able to do that through the help of the National Paralympic Committee. We played trials, Justify Your Inclusion in Kumasi, and also in Accra, and we had some players to join the professional. And we won gold again in 2023 for Mother Ghana in the major.
Yes, I remember. And congratulations, guys, for that. I mean, that was big. And considering that it was the very first edition of the African Paralympic Games, and congratulations, guys, for that. I mean,
yeah,
that was big. And
to our surprise, we won that. We thank the ministry for paying our per diems for the Paralympic Games, but our bonuses we never received them today.
Okay, and that is where we would want to get deep into that again. First of all, were any promises made? Were any assurances made that if you excel to that level, you would be given something aside your per diems? Was something said to you?
Yes.
By who? To that level,
it was said by Mr. Foster Kwatin, who is liaising between National Paralympic Committee and the ministry, that they said if we are able to win the trophy, we will be receiving $2,000 as a winning bonus. So we were like, can you tell them to at least put something on it? So it's been like $2,000 that I've been putting down for just amputees. So if you can go back to them and let them know that at least they should do something about it, we will be glad. So he accepted that he would speak with them, and there was no response. Even the $2,000 that he told him he came to tell us, we did not receive it. So he accepted that he would speak with them.
Okay.
And there was no response.
Have you made any attempts after that to go through them, through the right channels, to communicate this to the ministry, so they make good of that promise
go
of
through them
through the right
each?
channels to communicate this to the ministry,
Mr. Samsindin,
that
you have made that appeal, and he made us know that he has sent it to the ministry. And even before we met, the day we met the minister, just last week, we took the trophy and the medals there, and just to remind them. And in the statement of Mr. Samsindin, he stated that as we all know that we took the per diem, our bonuses for the Paralympic Games have not been paid. That is why we brought the trophy back here to remind you if we are being forgetting about that. So he even said that during the day we met the minister. Remind you if we are being forgetting about that.
So
he even
you are used to these kinds of things, aren't you? And let's Richard, the captain, I want him to take this. Get used to these kinds of things. I mean, you are go used to these kinds of things. There's not much support you go. Richard, the captain, I want him to take this. Especially with that one, with winning the very first gold at the very first African Paralympic Games. But especially with that one, with winning. I mean, how do you feel deep within you?
We feel very bad.
Paralympic Games.
You know, sometimes we feel very discriminated.
I mean, how do you feel deep within you?
We are Ghanaians, and we think, you know, sometimes all our national teams, the way, you know, like the way attention is given to some, and some they are overlooked. The way we feel left out, we feel discriminated. Attention is given to some, but some they are overlooked. I don't know, but we feel left out. Looking at the way forward, looking at ways and means. I don't know, but how we put our pieces together so that there's all lesser known sports ways that means we found over here in Ghana. Our pieces together. We'll have a proper look at the way we manage them so that we found they also feel good. They also feel not discriminated. We'll have a proper look at so this is what we look out for. they also feel good. They also
if you just joined us, we're still here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM, spending time with the champions of Africa in amputee football, the Black Challenge. If you just joined us, we're still here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM, spending time with the champions of Africa in amputee football, the Black Challenge, and representing the team, and that head coach sure is one thing we're all not excited about and should not be excited about. From your angle as the coach, I mean, you have the responsibility of tuning the minds of your players and getting them back on track all the time. From your angle as the coach, I mean, you have the responsibility. You've shared the story about the last AFCON and what happened there all the time, and all of that. When these things was there a certain point where you felt the last AFCON and what you could have lost your dressing room if was there a certain point the players didn't get anything concrete about you could have lost their reward and what was going to be done for them, especially considering that you have some organizational difficulties on the ground in Egypt? Their reward and what was going to be done for them.
I think I got an interview whilst I was in Cairo, and I said I wasn't able to get to my players that have been in my room before the semi-finals the whole day because the players, the messages that were coming in, you know, it was like lifting someone the whole day in the air, the players, leaving messages that were him there and for him to drop. We were there when a rep from the ministry in the air came and leaving the other leaders are following. We were there when so we should keep on the feet. Everything will be sorted out by tomorrow. We will define every per diems and everything will be paid, so we shouldn't give up. That was before the quarterfinals. So we gathered the courage and we went in the quarterfinals with all our hearts, and we shouldn't give up. We qualified to the next stage of the tournament. So and the following day we rested, so we were expecting to see as he said, the next stage of the tournament, management or the leadership from the ministry following. But to our surprise, there was nobody. And the players were like, Coach, I did come and say they are coming. We had to contact Mr. Dean, who was in Egypt there, so he had to come and speak to the team. Were like, Coach, I did come and say they are coming. The story behind Assassin was the words that came from Mr. Samson to the team. He said, and we were like, you are hustling. The story behind you have a story to tell, and success come to. He said, those who are willing, you are hustling for. And this is the Black Challenge. And this is the Ghana Amputee national team. Those who are willing, go for the gold and fight for your heart. This is now the Black Challenge. Those who are putting earstick in their ears, pretending not to hear your story. When you win the gold, and now everyone who put a stick in his ears, pretending not to hear you, will take them off and listen to you. When you win the gold, and here we are, you giving us the platform, in his ears, pretending not to hear, listening to us, sharing our story to Ghanaians, listen to you. So this was encourage us, and we look up to. I always tell my players, we are digging for gold, sharing our story to Ghanaians, and we have done this a long way. We can't quit now. I always tell my players, maybe we would have been a step closer to the gold. And the next person who will come would enjoy the labor or the sweat we have sweat for closer to the goal. So let's keep on digging. The next person who will come till we find the gold. The labor and here we are, Mr. Nat, sweat for winning gold, defending the title. So let's keep on digging. And Ghanaians, how we all jubilating. And here we are, Mr. Nat, yes, winning gold, defending the title. And Ghanaians, how we all jubilating. And yes, still,
Richard,
we have no receipt.
The captain. Have you ever thought of just quitting this venture and going to do something else? The captain. Have you, because of these happenings, tell me very honestly, have you had this moments when, and be specific about the moments when, because of these happenings, yourself, maybe we should just very honestly quit this? Have you had, moments when, and be specific about the moments when,
because I really love football, and this thing has always been keeping me fit. I play in Turkey as a professional. I really love football, and this thing has always been keeping me fit. That is where we get most of our powers to as a professional to the national team. But when we are coming to serve the nation, we buy our own ticket. 8 of us, we buy our own ticket and then come and represent the nation. But when we are coming to serve the nation, we buy our own ticket. 8 of us win trophy for Mother Ghana. We have nothing to show of that. This is what the nation rewarded us for lifting their flag very high internationally.
There's 8 of you. Okay, so you at least have the resources to be buying a ticket and coming. So the home-based component, do you have any of the team members? So you at least have the resources to be buying a ticket and coming. Maybe the home-based component. Have you ever had to deal with any? Do you have any of the team members?
Yeah, most of the local guys, sometimes they always talk that being at the roadside is better than coming here, paying.
You mean being at the roadside and begging?
Yes, that's what most of them used to tell me. And I remember some that I saw last year.
That's what most of them.
When I'm in a car going, and I remember I used to see most of them I saw at the roadside. They've gone back to the road again. When I'm
players who play in the national team.
No, they didn't play. They came to play Justifies.
Justifies, okay.
But then, yes, they couldn't make it. But yes, they were associating themselves with most of the Justifies local clubs here. But you know, yes, when the person comes and there is no motivation, they were associating back to the street
themselves with most of the amputee local clubs here.
So these are some of the things that we are all helping so that the sports will be very, very lucrative. And
you see.
So these are some of the things that
we are all helping so that
as amputee players, or whether they play amputee football or basketball or tennis, there are so many disciplines within the disability sports. Elsewhere in Turkey,
or basketball or
I remember
there are so many
when 3 of us, and I use this opportunity to thank
elsewhere in Turkey,
Mr. TT Brothers.
I remember
ticket for
when three of us
and
I use
to
this
go
opportunity
to Turkey internationally to play for to play in amputee football.
Ticket for
and here we are,
TT
Brothers
internationally to play.
Here we are, we have
to play in
we used to have 15 players
and here
in Turkey, but now we are reduced to
TT Brothers.
Great.
So
here
we really appreciate and
we
thank
used to have
him.
15
We say that may God
players
bless him.
playing
We've not
Turkey, but now
forgotten
we are
about
reduced to
what he did for us.
So
at the right time,
we really appreciate
hear
and
from
thank
us.
him. We say that
So
may God bless him. We've not forgotten about what he
that's
did
how
for
the
us.
story has been.
At the
And
right time, we hear from us.
I think
So
the way forward, things will be better.
That's how the story
Because
has been. And
we need to learn from our past.
I think the way
We
forward
need to learn from our past.
things will
These
be
are
better.
people who
Because
really need support
we need
in
to learn
society.
from our past.
Elsewhere
We
in
need to learn from our past. These are people who
Turkey,
really
I always
support
speak about Turkey
in
because
society.
that's where I play professional football.
Elsewhere
Over there,
in,
their amputee national team,
Turkey
is taking
I
good
always
care
speak
of
about
like
Turkey
their
because that's where I play
mainstream
professional football.
national team.
Over there,
football national team.
their amputee
All their
national team
attention and care is given to
taking
them
good care
because
of like their
it is
main
their nation that
mainstream national team. Football national team.
they lift its
All their
flag
attention
whenever there
and
is an
care is given
amputee
to them
tournament.
because it is their nation
When we come to Ghana, it's not
they
like
lift
that here.
its flag
And sometimes
whenever there is an
we the
amputee
players,
tournament.
it really pains us.
When we come to Ghana,
Most of our neighboring
it's
African
not like that
countries,
here. And
the way
sometimes
the way they embrace the
it
amputee
really
national
pains us.
team, it's
Most
it's
of
not
our
like the
neighboring
way
African
we
countries,
embrace ours
the
here.
way
And sometimes
the way they embrace the
it really
amputee
pains
national
us.
team is it's
Here
not
we
like
are
the way
winning
we embrace
play trophies
ours
for the
here.
nation
And sometimes
consistently,
it
and
really
we have
pains us.
nothing to show off.
Here we are
We
winning
have nothing to
play
show off.
trophies for
But
the
other
nation
African countries,
consistently.
they really treat the
And
players
we
well.
have nothing to show off.
They give them a reason to live,
We have
for them
nothing
to
to show
always
off. But other
defend
African countries,
their country
they really
in terms
treat
of
the players
amputee
well.
football.
They
In
give
Ghana
them a
here, it's
reason
not
to
like
live,
that.
for them to always
So for me,
defend
the
their
way
country.
forward is
in terms of
I'm
amputee
pleading with
football.
authorities
In
that
Ghana here, it's not like
it's
that.
about time
So for
they come
me,
to our aid
the way
because we
forward
really
is
need support.
I'm pleading with authorities.
Every
that
cycle,
it's
every
about
human
time
cycle in Ghana here,
they come
disabled
to
are
our
not
aid because we really need
considered.
support. Every cycle,
I'm telling
every
you the
human
honest
cycle
truth.
in Ghana here,
And
disabled are not
we feel discriminated.
considered.
It's about time
Every cycle.
they put a
I'm
stop
telling
to
you
it
the honest truth.
so that we all
And
feel we are
feel
part of
discriminated.
society.
It's about
Disability,
time they
everybody,
put a stop to it
anybody
so
can
that
be
we
disabled
all
at any
feel we
point
are
in
part
time.
of society.
So if I'm in this
Disability,
situation, you are treating
everybody.
me this way.
Anybody can be
If you also
disabled
join the
at
train,
any point
how,
in time.
how
So
do
if
you
I'm in
expect
this
to be
situation,
treated?
you are treating me
Maybe
this
yours
way.
will
If
be
you
worse
also
because
join the train,
when you get
got
a chance
how do
to
you
treat
expect to be treated?
those people like
Maybe
that,
yours will be
now
will be worse
you are
because
part of them.
when you get it,
You will not even feel better.
to treat
if care is not taken,
those
you
people
will
like
even
that,
take your life because
now
guilty
you are
conscience.
part of
them. So you will not even feel better. If care is not taken, you even take your life. It shouldn't just be the talk, but it should be physical. It should be a practical thing, like the way it's in other countries. It shouldn't just be the talk, but it should be physical. It should be a practical thing.
You can join us with your thoughts here on the show. And today, like I said, we're just dedicating it to Amputee football. As we've heard
you
from
can join us with your thoughts here on the show.
The structure
and today, like I said, we're just dedicating it
different,
to
and there is
Amputee football.
As massive
attention
attention
from
given to the national team.
The structure in other countries.
As it stands now, there are massive challenges, and we want to bring these to the fore. Not necessarily to lay blame
as it stands now, there are massive challenges.
Just get close to the people, understand what the challenge is, and see if we can get a realistic solution
just get
to all of
to
this,
the
to end it and
understand
and make sure that we're flying high in that space, because clearly there is potential there.
To all
the
of
prospects are very high. They have also made a big case for themselves.
Flying high in that
Now,
space, because clearly
the talk about these guys who came
the
for
prospects are very high.
for the
They have also made
justifiers who now have gone to the streets.
The talk about these
have
guys
these
who came
stories been brought to your attention?
justifiers who now have gone to the streets.
I see them. They call me.
Have these stories been brought to your attention, Coach?
Mr. Nat, I see them. I want to make things clear.
They call you?
Yeah, I speak to them. If I'm on the street begging, if I can earn 100 cedis a day, I want to make things clear. Put arms on the table of my family. If I can, and you are doing football, and you go back and there's nothing to show in your life on the table of my family, how can I tell you to join? You are doing football. How can I encourage you to go back and there's nothing to show in your life? These guys have potential that they can be of help to the national team. How can I encourage you? So my own is sometimes I feel like is it better being on the street than playing football? These are questions sometimes I think about. Is it better being on the street? They will call the coach. Football. Oh, is everything all right? Everything is fine. I think I saw you won something. Congrats to that. They will call you coach. They have given you house. Everything all right? Everything is fine. The conversation is beginning. Now there, your money there. You can't chop. He's trying to pull my legs. Someone on the street is an amputee. Yeah. Now there, your money because he knows that all this thing is saying. He's trying to pull my legs. Someone on the street is an amputee. I know the leg will not be back. But because he knows that all this because from 2018 it has been dormant. And he's earning ends. I know the leg will not be back every day. But what we are appealing for is 2018 it has been dormant. It should reflect in the life. And he's earning ends with the boys every day. Angola went to the first trophy. It should reflect in the life. Give them 2-bedroom apartment each. The boys. If you go to Angola now, there is an estate where they live. There's a school. There is a police station. Their own community. It's beautiful. If you go to Angola now, they went back again to where they live. There's a school. They give them a brand new police station. Their own community. Each is beautiful.
In Angola,
an African country. Do you know the African games we play here? All African Paralympic African games we play here.
In Angola,
we won gold. Our bonuses are not in. Do you know the African games we play here? All African. We were given $10,000 each. We won gold.
Morocco, who lost to you in the final, were given $10,000 each.
But
Morocco, who lost to you
gold medalists
in the final, were given $10,000 each.
Here we are, the gold medal. Talk of how much they are going to give us. Our winning bonus. But we overlooked that and still went in. To fight for Ghana in 2024 AFCON, which is also a World Cup qualifier. We overlooked that and still went in. There were 7 countries that are supposed to fight for Ghana in 2024 AFCON, which is also a World Cup qualifier. Winning gold again. There were 7 countries that are supposed to qualify. Nobody was at the airport to meet us to qualify. And upon our return, gold again. Not even a idea upon our return from the authorities. Nobody was at the airport to meet us. Talk less of our winning bonus upon our return. Talk less of the reward the nation will give us, the authorities. These players are so struggling bonus to put shelter on their head. They are so struggling to put food on the table of their families. These players are so struggling. Are we going to continue like this? When you call Dan, they are so struggling. I was happy when you called him. He spoke about this over 10, 20 years now. I still remember that. Are we going to continue like this? When we are so struggling. We keep on saying we will talk about it today. thinking of the authorities have heard about it. So in the next tournament, you have a hint-free movement to represent Mother Ghana. And that tournament, when it's about to come a month or two, that is when the problem will come. Someone will write to the embassy, they are not the right people, don't give them when it's about to come a month or two. That is when the problem will come. Someone running all around, the embassy, for letter from the ministry, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Sports. A national team running all around, seeking for letter from the ministry and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Sports to train. And the pitch that we train as a national team, we have to pay for it. To the pitch.
Tell me about that. I was coming to
and the
training
that we train as a national team, we have to pay for
training in the sense that. Tell me about that. I was coming to training. You've been organizing training in the sense that. How do you go about training?
Before we called for this players' campaign,
you've been organizing training.
There was money that we received. We sent budget to the ministry. There was money we received from our sponsors. Thanks to Trillium Industrial Company, Ghana Commercial budget to the ministry, and Philadelphia Movement. There was money we received from our sponsors. So out of the money they give us, we have to go and pay for a hotel before we could call the players to camp. They supported us. So we went to out of the money they give us, we have to go and pay for a hotel before we could call the players. And you call the players. We have to send them money for TNT before they could come and send them some token to live for their family. And we call the players so that they can be feeding while they are away before they could come. Because some of them depend on them. Some are shoemakers, so they have to make shoes. So that they can be feeding men's shoes before they can even put. Because some of them they are not there, how are they going to feed? Some are shoemakers. So the management told of it, make shoes. Part of the money that we receive from our shoes before they can even put, we paid and give them some token to be left at home. So the management thought of it wise. Part of the money that we receive most thing that sometimes I have to repay it as a give them some token. You know, because we pay for the pitch and the pitch is for public use. The authorities of the pitch have to give us time that we should be trained. You know, because we pay for the pitch and the pitch is for public use. They have to give us time. We want to train in the morning. They said the morning has been booked, so we have to wait till all trainings are over. They have to give us time. We want to train in the morning. They said the morning has been booked. So we have to wait till all trainings from the hotel to the pitch. Before the materials that we use as a national team are my personal materials. We walk from the hotel to the pitch.
You walk from the hotel
the materials that we use for training are my personal materials. From Tantra Hill.
You walk from the hotel to the pitch. From Tantra Hill to St. John's. What distance are we looking at?
Tantra Hill behind the Tantra Hill.
Okay.
To St. John's.
From Tantra Hill to St. John's, so that should be a minimum of
Tantra
about 2 kilometers.
Behind the sniff flat.
Okay. We
walk to St. John's.
Okay.
You get exhausted before you train, so you can't even train them to the extent. You have to train for a short time. We walk.
I see.
Because you don't have to overstress them, because you want the best out of them.
So this was the preparation for this AFCON that you want.
Because you don't have to overstress them, because you want the best out of them.
Okay. So this was interesting. The preparation for this AFCON that you won.
Yes.
So then you eventually got into Egypt.
Yeah.
Interesting. After all of this. All right. Exactly. So then you then over there as well got into Egypt. A few issues. Yeah. After all of this.
Exactly.
I see Richard the captain smiling. And then over there as well.
Over there, you know, when we went, all the countries that came.
I see Richard the captain smiling.
They motivate them. Over there, you know, physical dollars. And we will be sitting, you know, there's a big hall that most of the countries, they all lodge in the same hotel. There's a big lodge, you know, there's a big hall that, a lobby. So countries, they all lodge in the same hotel. They form their team somewhere, and then maybe they'll be chatting, they'll be discussing about the next match and the monies that they form their team somewhere. Promised to be given. Maybe they'll be chatting, they'll be discussing about who will be playing the next match. And the money that because is being there's no motivation, so we need to motivate ourselves. So we'll be playing Spa, but those guys, there's no motivation. So and then we'll be to motivate ourselves. So we'll be playing Spa. We have those guys promised ourselves that sharing dollars. We brought Ghana to the whole Egypt. Our families we have in Ghana. Promise ourselves that the nation trusts Ghana to the whole Egypt. Will never, whatever will be the situation, in Ghana, we have our own story to write. The nation trusts us. We have our own story to write in a positive way, not in a negative way. We want to bring glory to Ghana. when we finish all this, I think in a positive way, not in a what we are expecting from to bring glory the nation is that when we finish, they have sent us to represent the nation. What we are expecting good results, the nation is one good thing deserves another. They have at least they should reward us well so that it will reflect. So when we bring good results in our lives, to motivate us so that at least they continue doing more, so that it will reflect. I see most of our former musicians and most of our former players, then they were not paid well. Now, when they are sick, our former musicians and most of our money to go to the hospital becomes a problem. They were not paid, and we are physically challenged. Now, when they are sick, we are not motivated. We are not well taken care of. Becomes a problem. It will turn out to be the same thing when we are sick in future. If we have no money to go to hospital because when we serve the nation, there wasn't any reward. When we are sick in future, so this have no money to go to hospital. The whole nation. When we serve the nation, there wasn't. We need to be well taken care of, so that we will continue lifting the flag of Ghana high. That when we are no more, those who will continue to be a good legacy for us and the whole nation. Flag of Ghana high. This is all what we are appealing for. Right now, we've brought glory to Ghana. The issue about this and that, the way forward is what we should be looking at. Right now, we've brought glory to Ghana. The way forward is what we should be looking at. This and that, the way forward is what we sit here, we don't know our state. You see, but the way forward is what we should be looking at. We don't know what we are getting. As we sit here, we don't know our state. This is a thing of joy. It shouldn't be we shouldn't be sad in these times.
Yeah,
we don't know.
That's the fair comment.
This is a thing of joy.
It shouldn't be as we get ourselves ready to wrap up this conversation, I also want us to look at going forward. Now, let's the calendar of the Amputee AFCON is sometimes not very defined. Going forward. Now, this looks like a minimum of a 3-year period, isn't it? The Amputee AFCON is sometimes not very defined. Between this time and now, this looks even like without 3-year period, the kind of support that you require coming from this top structure. Okay. Even without what will be the plan going forward, because the kind that is also important. Because I'm sure that amongst you, you'd want to keep this status. What will be the plan and because that is for as long as you, because I'm sure that amongst you, you'd want to keep this status.
Yeah, the World Cup is in 2026.
For as long as you can.
I spoke with the League Club, Ghana Amputee League Club Association, that is GACA. Yeah, the World Cup is in 2026. See how we can bring back the league, even if I spoke with the League Club, Ghana Amputee, even if it's a mini league, that is GACA. We can play in the Ashanti region. We go make it zone so that more we don't have the funding. Like we played, so the little we can get from the support of Ghanaians. If we have to structure it to zone us, like more we don't have Ashanti region to play that. So the little we can get from the support of because we have across the nation we have some league clubs that are representing Amputee football. So we can, if it is the Western zone and the Eastern zone, we can do it like that. So we can work on that and make sure that we are on track to get more local players. We can sit down being dormant. So the reason is the league and make sure that we are on track. So the way forward, we're going to make sure we bring the league back by the support of Ghanaians. So if we have the support, because there's no money in the account of GACA that we can say we are going to use to support it. We want to maintain our status of being the champions of Africa and hopefully champions of the world. We want to maintain upcoming 2026 status of being the champions of Africa. So we are pleading with Ghanaians to assist us and help us to bring the Ghana Amputee League back, so that we can have more players that we can groom to help us to get on board with the national team back, so that we can have more players that we can groom.
When you sit down and you try to picture what can possibly happen, how are you using that to also motivate yourself? When you sit down and you try to picture what can possibly happen,
for us as Amputee players,
how are you using that to also motivate yourself?
We are always motivated by ourselves. And for us as Amputee players, what put food on the table for our families. And in the World Cup, it's a big stage. By ourselves. You play in Turkey, wherever, on the table you need to prove your strength. In the World Cup, it's a big stage. You know how to do it very well and represent your nation very well. So I think prove your strength. This is what we do. It has been part of us. So whatever happens, we always keep pushing. I think so. This is what we do. Like coach said, we are digging gold. So whatever we always keep maybe pushing. It's just some few minutes for us. Coach said we are to reach the gold. So we'll keep on pushing. But maybe we believe it's just authorities will be listening to our stories, and then so we'll keep provide us with better services so that we will continue to do what we like doing best and keep on our stories defending the nation, so that standing for the nation, winning trophies for the nation, and also defending, giving reasons for people with disabilities to live, trophies for the nation, because there is sports in disability. Giving reasons for people with disabilities.
A great message coming from the captain of the very victorious champions of Africa. I'm talking about the Black Challenge, Richard Arthur. A great message coming from the captain of the very victorious champions of Africa. I'm talking about the Black Challenge. We've laid so many of their issues and leading real life issues bare. So we can see how to get them somehow. But let me just remind all of you that we're in the 6th season of football, and the multimedia group is also proud to be the official free-to-air radio broadcast right owners for Euro 2024. And remember, we're delivering you live commentary of selected games, including that opening game, the big one itself, and the final, which will be coming up later on. We all have seen what's happened with the host. We've seen some of the big games from our live broadcast as well. So remember that we're bringing you some great live commentary and analysis and summarization from a great team of commentators from here at Joy 99.7 FM, Love FM, Hits FM, Dome FM, Inshira FM, and Sempa FM. And apart from the radio commentary as well, remember that we've got some curated custom Euro 2024 shows on radio, television, and digital, as well as live viewing events. All of these are aimed at giving you an unparalleled experience with the competition for our viewership and our audience as well. So the multimedia group's broadcast of the coverage of Euro 2024 is by courtesy of Sporting TV and Sporty Bet. And also you can watch selected matches of Euro 2024 live on Sporting TV, channel 36 on your digital TV sets. And Sports coverage and also you can watch Euro 2024 tournament is proudly sponsored by NASCO. NASCO brings home happiness. Well, let me also tell you about NASCO, the ultimate celebration of excellence in football here in Ghana. Well, it's the 6th annual Ghana Football Awards, and this is just a week away. The experience of an evening of unrivaled glamour and high-octane excitement of the Grand Arena will be happening as we recognize an unrivaled glamour and high-octane excitement of the Grand Arena will be happening to revel in this unforgettable night of entertainment and dazzling moments as we leave you breathless as well. So you help us to celebrate our stars on the 29th of June. Remember, it's just a week away, and this will be on a night that promises nothing short of help us to celebrate our stars Ghana Football Awards of June. Remember, it's just a week away, Impact Africa initiative powered by this will be on a night that promises nothing short of supported by the Multimedia Group and AE Media sponsors our club here, Safari Valley, and Big League Sports and Games Lunch. Ghana Football Awards celebrating the stars of our passion. Okay, and don't be surprised if you see something special happening for the national Amputee football team on the night. I'm just saying. And don't be surprised if you see something special happening for the national. We're waiting for the league to start on the night. Now, I'm just saying. Tell me very quickly as well what it's looking like in terms of the spread of talent. We're waiting for the league to start. Now, what structure will you run if you have the opportunity to put together a league, which based on which you can reconstitute the national team? What structure will you run if you have the opportunity to put together a league?
If I'm being given the opportunity to run a league, you know, we will divide there. Thank you very much for this opportunity. The northern and the southern, given the opportunity so that they don't have to cross all the way to Accra. It shouldn't be always Accra. So now we can structure all the clubs. All the clubs in the southern part, the northern part comprised of Kumasi and the rest to play, and the winner will come and meet the final one from the northern, the southern part that will be played in Accra here. Finally in Accra or whatever we want to play it, so that we can, the technical team can have a good number of selected players who can be of good help to the national team. So I think this is how we're going to be. All the league clubs will meet, the club owners will meet, and we'll be discussing about the way forward from henceforth. We know Ghanaians have heard our story and they will come in for us. The club owners will meet and we'll be on track and about how the way forward from henceforth. We know Ghanaians have heard our story and they will bring out a great performance in the World Cup. We'll be on track and how
all right, so interesting thoughts there. Richard, we're wrapping up this conversation on amputee football, your performance, and
all right, so
these predicaments.
Interesting thoughts there. Richard, we're wrapping up.
There's a lot ahead in the future. We're hoping that this message goes across to everybody who has to listen, so that they come on board and support.
There's a lot ahead.
What is your plan from your end? I mean, you
this message
play
goes
professional football in Turkey.
Everybody who has
What's
to
the plan going forward in the coming months
and support?
What is your regarding you, your club, and some of your other teammates who are also based
What's
there?
the plan going forward in the coming months?
Turkey started like the way we started here in Ghana.
Some of the other teammates
I
who are also
believe
based there.
when we get support,
Turkey started like the way we started here.
when we get support, there is no need for us to even go and play in Turkey. When we get support, over there, companies support all the clubs. When we get support, when it's like that here, we will not go to Turkey and go and play. We will play over locally here. Companies will be aiming the same thing. So when it's like that, all our problem has been support, and the nation also recognizing us, the authorities recognizing our sports, and then all our problem have a good look at it, and the kind of support that we need, they should render those supports so that we also have a good look at part of Ghana. The kind of support that we need.
All right, gentlemen, it's been wonderful sharing your company.
Let's
wrap this up with your final messages to
gentlemen.
Ghanaians.
It's been wonderful sharing your company.
I want to say
let's wrap this up with your final messages to Ghanaians and everyone.
Let's begin with you, Coach.
All attracts I want to say I can see one of the screen is the one that GFA provided for the Olympic Games. And thank you very much to them. And we hope we can have a good relationship with them going forward, that we can have all the materials that they have, at least to help the national team to also feel like, yeah, we are a national asset. And thanks to them too, they give us the tracksuit for the AFCON and also a jersey that we used. You understand, the jersey that the Paralympic president received. So we want to say thank you to GFA and the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and we will just request that they should have a good look into amputee football, because there are great potentials there, and those in authorities, just like the companies, could come on board to support not just the national team, but also the Ghana League that we want to play when it comes to amputee football. I also want to say thank you to you as well for having us, because it's not everybody who opens his doors for us. I know your platform is broad, and a lot of people have heard us, and they will come through for us. And one thing is, I wish the Ghana Amputee could also have a ticket to come in and watch the Ghana Football Awards.
Okay, so special request that will be placed there. And of course, once it's here on the Joy Sports link, trust me, it must be granted and will be granted. Final word from you, Richard the captain. Once it's here on the Joy Sports link, trust me,
my final word
granted and will be granted.
Thank you very much for the opportunity
given us
for us
Richard the captain.
Tell you our stories. We really appreciate it, and may God really richly bless you and these studios. My appeal is to our president of the land. God really richly bless you. Mr. President, as you all know, anytime you send us to go and defend Ghana, we defend with all our heart. Mr. President, as you all but know, we plead with you. Anytime you send us to go and defend Ghana, when we bring trophies, we defend with all our heart. The reward doesn't reflect well in our lives. So we are pleading with you. We have no place to lay our heads. Our mobility to training well in our lives. It's not like expected. We used to join trotro, we used to join motorbikes and other things to training. And our members, they are going back to the street. So we plead with you to motivate us well. This trophy that we brought, we know what you can do. We know you are a showman. You said all inclusiveness. So let the people see that, yes, what you said is what you do. We know you are a showman. So that our people, they will come back from the street, because there's a huge motivation, a huge reward from you. And then you finally blessing us that your sports have great interest in it. I bless you this day. From henceforth, my predecessors, they will take good care of you, so that we also feel we are part of society, we are part of Ghana. and we are Ghanaians. So this is our humble appeal to you, so that Mr. President. We know this particular trophy. Give us a chance for us to present the trophy to you. We take pictures with you. Just bless us and reward us well. We really appreciate and we will never forget this in our lives. Thank you very much. And reward us well.
Okay, so that was a message going to His Excellency the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, from the captain of the Ghana Amputee football team, the national team, who are the current champions of Africa, having won the recently held Amputee AFCON in Egypt. Well, that's it for this part of the show. Remember, we're in the thick Euro period where you're number one partner. From all of the excitement that we brought you from our viewing party last Thursday, we want to just do a bit, to wrap it all up here on the show. So you stay with us in a bit. We'll be bringing you the conversations with Daniel Cranting. He has been key in the show. So you stay with us in a bit. We'll be bringing you the special conversations for Portugal and the Cristiano Ronaldo business. We'll talk about the big names and faces and how the nations are just, having a new look all over in the Euros. All of it coming up to wrap up the Joy Sports Link here on Joy 99.7 FM. In the meantime, enjoy the track. All of it coming up to wrap up the Joy Sports Link here on Joy 99.7 FM. In the meantime, enjoy the track. All right, so trust you're enjoying that song. For those whose
Joy 99.7
FM. Unfortunately, it didn't have to come up. We'll talk about that later, and I'm sure those conversations will come up later this afternoon when the Showbiz A to Z team take over. But let's spend some time on the Euros. You know we're your number one partner when it comes to live radio commentary and all the beautiful programs that are supporting the tournament. 4 years ago, we brought you in-depth coverage, and it was amazing. Now we're trying to look at a few aspects of the competition. Of course, the good thing is that the host ceremony qualified. The excitement that came from our viewing experience at the Heritage Brewery on Thursday was just amazing. Daniel Cranting has joined me, Danny K, and I'm glad you also launched your new, sneakers, your black and white sneakers. Are they your favorite colors anyway? Is there anything?
We'll keep all of that for later. We don't want to be.
Yeah. And by the way, Daniel Cranting is also Portuguese by.
So what is it you go and do? What you?
By birth. I can give you the full name. We'll talk about that later. So for those of you who have been following Daniel, in the afternoons with Lexis Bill, on Global, it's just amazing. They've been discussing his nationality, but we'll keep all of that for later on. We don't want to be about the immigration. Yeah. So what is it? You go and you renew your immigration status every 3 months or what?
I'm Portuguese.
Well, so the host Germany are through already, and it's amazing, especially for any host nation that is hosting a tournament as big as the Euros. It's key, especially for the home fans. And I always keep saying it's about the attendance record of Germany. Way back in 2006, they set a
3 games Bundesliga, 2. It's not just about the elite league in the Bundesliga. Even the lower tier leagues have massive attendances. Once there's a ball and once there are 22 players on the pitch, they will show up. That's how much they love their football. It's good you've mentioned the 2006 World Cup, the record attendance that they post in that particular competition. When you look at their Nations League games, and it's very important because they face all sorts of opposition. It doesn't matter if it is Germany against Faroe Islands. It doesn't matter over here in Ghana. If Ghana is facing Nigeria, you know there's a certain crowd. If Ghana is facing Central African Republic, you have to open free gates. But look, over there, they will pay money as long as there's a ball, as long as there's a referee, linesmen, and players on the field.
And before you go on, you know, there's an even bigger conversation about how those models can be replicated in places like these, especially for us who are trying to put our football on a certain pedestal so that it becomes a big product, an industry that many others can participate in, like it's being done there.
Yeah, I think it was a Champions League semi-final where Ramadi faced Bayern, and there was this conversation about the ticket prices, the differences in the ticket prices at the Bernabeu as against the Allianz Arena. The cheapest ticket in the Bernabeu was the most expensive ticket at the Allianz Arena for a Champions League semi-final game. And that just shows you that, you see, that the German football, it's like a relationship between the football culture and their economy. And they understand that because the people love it, you're not going to price it. In as much as it's a very sought-after product, they have still priced the tickets that they are very affordable to whoever wants to get to the stadium. And I think it's very good if we also try and situate it in our economic state. Look, Ghana is hard. But before you even do that, you talk about the quality that is on offer. And they've done their football so well that across board, no matter what it is, from the regional to the Bundesliga, 3-2 Bundesliga national team, the quality is at a certain standard. So when you pay money, you know that you are paying for quality. You know that it is not just about the easy. That's another thing about watching games outside this jurisdiction. The football culture is not just about what is happening in the field in 90 minutes. It's a whole party, it's a whole experience. So, look, it's not about referee blowing the whistle, the game is done. You are talking about what happened during the 90 minutes. There's an experience that you have before the game, during the game, halftime, after the game, if you win or lose, depending on what happens. But when you pay money, you are paying money for a 360 experience. It's a worthwhile investment.
And I love the use of the word experience because that is where the world has gotten to. I mean, I'm talking about the advanced, spaces. That's where they've gotten to, where it's more of an experience, just rather than just an event that happens, and people come and go. More here on the Euros, which is proudly supported by NASCO. NASCO, bring home happiness. Before we go on, let's do some messages. I've been wanting to go over these for a bit. You do remember that we brought you a conversation with the Black Challenge, and the captain was here, the head coach was also here. There are some mixed messages I placed on my page as well, and I'm getting some responses here. There's one very long one from my good friend Dr. Kojo Apiakubi. I'll be reading that very shortly. I'll be adding the rest of them to you. But let me just quickly go on this one that says, okay. This one says, hi Nathaniel, kindly tell Danny K that we the Spanish are also watching them very closely, and this year's tournament is ours. Okay, thank you very much. There's another one from John Lai. John Lai says, an amazing tournament so far, and this is one place the AFCON needs to get to sometime in the future. Maybe it may not be in my lifetime, but hopefully it should happen. All right, thank you very much, John Lai. There's this other one that also says, we need to push more for the rights of, we need to push more for the rights of the Ghana Amputee football team. This is a very sad story. After winning such major silverware, they don't have to be subjected to this. I hope the president listens to the plea
by the captain of the team. Thank you very much. Citizen K has also sent this one. It says, as for the Euros, the Germans are taking their trophy. It's not leaving their country. The team is in amazing shape, and I don't think they would sit back for anybody to win that trophy. Thank you very much for that message. Let me now switch it over and take this one from Dr. Kojo Apiakubi. He has a bit of a lengthy one there, but remember it's 055-1111-997, 055-1111-997 here on the Joy Sports link on Joy 99.7 FM. Okay, so there it is. What I was just asking was about the team, its achievement, and you know, what should be done for them and what their inadequacies are at this moment. Well, this is the message that came in. Why do we do this to ourselves? And how is it that the minister, after saying all that, never added, oh, we are sorry we couldn't support you with jerseys for the competition? The hypocrisy. I don't think the minister has any leg to stand on. It's rather unfortunate, but looking at the power dynamic, they may have to just yield to the minister. Leadership has failed us, not only in sports, but in health, infrastructure, you name it. They have messed it up and sold it for both. Okay, this is a message that's coming from there. Okay, so more on the Euros now. So the Germans they're getting things right. So far, the optics are very good. Yeah. Anybody, anywhere in the world would want to be there now in all the cities to watch the games. Now, they've qualified for the next stage of the competition. Good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good thing. Look, the form or the form of a diamond shaft leading to this competition wasn't necessarily the best. When you look at their previous performances in major competitions, so you look at Euro 2020, where they went out in the round of 16, disappointing loss to England. Then Qatar 2022, the World Cup, Russia 2018, they were kicked out in the group stages, back to back. It's something. It's so uncharacteristic of a German national team. So it's not like people were looking at players, people were looking at an exciting young coach, people were looking at the prospects of this team being good. They were best basing it on what they have done in previous years, which wasn't necessarily the best. So it was so important for them to start on a positive note. And that 5-1 win over Scotland was very important for them to get that win in the manner in which they did it. Then they went on against Hungary, winning by 2-0 in a game that was difficult. But you see, sometimes when you struggle in games and you still leave with score lines such as that, in terms of 2 goals, clean sheets, it's really important, because it sort of gives you that belief that the stars are aligning for you. And 6 points is obviously, it has qualified them for the next round. Now it will be about where they'll finish, whether first or second, and what that will mean for
the fixtures
going forward. Because remember, they are third best placed teams, and depending on where those teams present themselves, you could face. So now you are just praying that all your rivals do well and everybody finishes in first and second, so that your round of 16 game is a bit easier and will give you that stepping stone onto the quarterfinals, which obviously when you get to round of 16.
Interesting. Still here on the Joy Sports Link. We're in the final leg of the show, bringing you a conversation around the Euros. We've been very big on the Euros, during this period, and we're doing this till the tournament ends. We're going to do the games as well. We're going to be bringing you some selected games from some of your favorite viewing places. And later today, Daniel Cranton's Portugal are in there. Before we go to Portugal, I'm drawn to talk about star power and the attractions for this kind of tournament. I mean, around the world, covering the FIFA World Cup and all of that, I've met football fans who tell you that they've traveled from wherever to come and watch, certain players play. Our players, during their moments of high peak performance, the likes of Michael Essien and all that, Sule Muntari, Stephen Appiah, all had fans travel from different places around the world just to come and watch them. Now, you're looking at this German team, you're looking at the Luka Modric, you're looking at the Toni Kroos, you're looking at your Cristiano Ronaldo, for instance, and looking at where they've gotten to in their respective careers and what they probably will be looking for, in this tournament. Let's begin with Cristiano Ronaldo. It's just looking like, well, winning a World Cup may not be practical, but leading Portugal to win 2 Euros won't be a bad idea.
Yeah, and just on a quick one, Next time, I would prefer you complete the sentence before you mention Ronaldo's name, not sum it up with the rest of the guys. But look, in that conversation, I think that is testament to the work that he's done with Portugal. Because the fact that we can sit here in 2024 and say, yes, maybe a World Cup will not be realistic, it was never so in Portuguese football history where they ever thought that they could go to a World Cup and win. It's even Euros, going to an international competition to win was never ever so. The semi-final in '66, they had to wait up until Euro 2004 that they reached the last four of another international competition. And then winning it in 2016 was their first ever international competition. Portugal are not winners. And then Ronaldo did it again 2 years later with winning the Nations League. So for him, and when you read pieces from Portugal, you speak to journalists in Portugal, when they do their pieces and talk to the fans, they are satisfied. For them, what Ronaldo has done for them is enough. It's about what he wants to do. And for me, that is what I love about the person, the fact that he's never really satisfied. It's always the next step, the next challenge, the next challenge. And when you look at this Portuguese team, look, where they've reached, the talents that they have, the fine blend of experience and youth that they have, with the head coach that they have, who did, I think, really good during his time with Belgium, finishing a semi-final of a World Cup. With this Portuguese team and with the way the rival teams are looking, if Portugal get a good draw, I don't see why they can't go all the way. And especially because now they have done it before. Now there are certain players in this team who were part of that 2016 winning team, who have that experience of winning, who knows what it means to represent Portugal and go all the way to win a competition. So I think that is where collectively the group is looking at now, looking at going to the Euros to win. And for me, that is testament for the marvelous work that Cristiano Ronaldo has done during his international career with Portugal. Okay,
before we come to the fixtures for later today, one of them comes up in just about 2 hours, and then the next one later in the evening at 7 p.m. Portugal versus Turkey, and then Belgium versus Romania. I also have some Romanian blood, so you know. Look, so you look at the likes of Luka Modric. Luka Modric, obviously, yet to win something major with Croatia, but has done everything there needs to be done at club level.
Yeah, look, he's done brilliantly. And again, the Luka Modric Croatia story is very similar to the Portuguese story. Croatia's first competition as an independent country came in '98 at the World Cup, where they went all the way to the semi-final. Davosuka and his guys. Then they thought that was it. They couldn't go past that. Then Luka Modric and his class take them to a FIFA World Cup final for the first time in their history. Then they make another semi-final 4 years later. For him to give Croatia what he's given them, for me, and again, when you read pieces from that side of the world, you speak to journalists from that side, you listen to interviews or fan interviews and what they think, their idea of their team during the time that a player like Luka Modric has been there. It's not about the trophy. It's not about lifting silverware. It's about taking their belief to a next level, doing beyond what they ever thought they could do. And
yeah,
for me,
and you hit it right there on the head, because you see this participation of nations within Eastern Europe who have gone through strife and are recovering and have recovered, and have people who have seen that period happen. Yeah. And Luka Modric is a great example. He was talking about how his experiences as a boy during the war period always pushes him to keep running and keep doing what he does.
And it's very important. And you can put yourself in the shoes of a Croat, a Croat, and just look at it from that lens. The fact that look, there are 3 million people living in Croatia. Their football factory is so small. The chances of them building a mega team to compete at international competitions is so small. Yet, a player like Modric has been able to lead a group to give them back-to-back FIFA semi-finals, once reaching the final and one just a couple of years ago reaching the semi-final. So look, in as much as they've gone through all these things, there's still an avenue, which is football, with Modric as the head. And he has given them a reason to celebrate. So again, for me, when you look at his career, yes, you talk about the Champions League wins, and he's not the only one who's won 6 Champions Leagues. His entire teammates at Real Madrid have won. But he's the only one who has, or a select group of people who have taken his country and given the people of Croatia a reason why going into every competition, once he's there, a reason why to believe that they can go all the way. And for me, that is something you can't take away from people. There are countries who've won World Cups. People have won. Argentina have won how many? 3 World Cups. Messi is only one to win a World Cup for Argentina. Maradona has done it. Kempes has done it. Pele is only one to win a World Cup with Brazil. Ronaldo has done it. Ronaldinho has done it. Yet, when you talk about countries that their citizens or players have given them the first taste of what it means to be competitive, or to go out there and feel like you can rub shoulders with the best. You're talking about Modric, you're talking about Ronaldo, and those are the stories that I love. Sadio Mane, Senegal, those are the stories that I love for me.
Yes, time is not our best friend right now. We'll do our best to squeeze in the expectations for today's games, plus last conversation about star power and Toni Kroos, who has also done amazing with Real Madrid. I remember back in the time when he was a young guy, a young boy, you know, being captain of the German under-17 side, going through the ranks and going all the way to winning the FIFA World Cup, and now this tournament. And here he is. I wonder what runs through his mind at this stage of his career.
Look, I honestly, I wonder why he's retiring at this stage. It's not just about age. It's about the impact and what he can still offer. You're watching the 2 games at the Euros, basically best player. Saw him last season in the Champions League, in the league. Outstanding player. And sometimes it's just, you can't really argue with players because they know what they are going through. But yeah, it's really sad to see that the fact that when Germany goes out of this, I don't think they'll win. When they eventually get kicked out of the competition, that's the last we're seeing, of course.
Let's quickly go to what we should expect later today. Portugal in that game.
I'm not the person to be asking this thing. Portugal is winning, obviously. Turkey don't stand a chance.
You never make any space for any surprise packages. This is the bias level for Portugal.
No, it's like asking me Black Stars is going to play a game. You're asking me. Of course, I say Ghana will win. Portugal are going to play.
Romania going up against Belgium.
Look, that will be difficult. But Belgium have lost their first game. They didn't deserve to lose. I'm really praying that God will touch Lukaku, because if Lukaku has a bad game, it renders everything they are doing useless, because it looks like every single chance falls to him. So he really needs to up his game. And if he has, even if Lukaku has a 65-70% game, Belgium will win.
Okay, there we go. That's it. Thank you so much, Danny K, and wishing you and your Portuguese friends and relatives all the best in this particular game. And remember, there's live commentary here, and also you have to catch us tomorrow as well as we bring you some more on the Euros and more. We'd like to say a very big thank you to our friends at NASCO. NASCO bring home happiness for bringing us the Euros and our coverage of the Euros. Thank you so much. And the national amputee football team has made a very passionate plea to the President of the Republic. We're hoping that we're going to get a response from His Excellency the President. Also, they've also made a request to want to be at the Ghana Football Awards to have the experience. That will be exactly in a week's time. Let's see how things go. But thanks to the whole team, our cameraman, our lead producer, Benaya Elom Dafiamepo, and everybody else who's been here on the show. Danny K, thank you so much. And you can catch Daniel Kranting every day between 3:50 and 4:10, you know, bringing us everything from the world of sport on Global Sport. Well, thank you so much. Joy Headline News, and then immediately after that, Showbiz A to Z right here on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Nathaniel Attoh, and I have love for sport.